Man, oh man, if you have not been watching the news, well, not really the news, if you haven't been on Twitter lately and seen the back and forth that's been going on with Danielle, Trotta, Larry Mack, and, well, I say Mark Martin. We all know that they're talking about Mark Martin. They haven't said his name specifically, but we know that's who they're talking about. You have to be a moron not to know that. It's been ridiculous. I want to talk about it because it's going to get me on a soapbox. So, forewarning, if you don't want to hear me complain about NASCAR and the championship format, well, just bear with me. Let's just say that. Bear with me. Watch it. I think I've got some valid points to bring up. And it's kind of annoying, honestly, to hear people bash a Hall of Famer. You know, it's just, it sticks in my craw. I don't really know how else to put it. It just sticks in my craw. So if you enjoy listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, or anything else, really, I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share this video, the works. As I've said before, we're in copyright strike currently. I think that's due to fall off here in the next couple of weeks. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. So if you would share this, tell your friends, tell your grandparents, tell your parents, if they're interested in anything automotive, check out this channel. It's the best one on YouTube. I mean, I think so. Anyways, if you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, racing memorabilia, auto parts, anything like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. We have a big sale going on right now, so shoot me an offer on something if you're interested. If you find something that you're interested in. Without further ado, let's get into it. So my son, he's 5, and we made the mistake collectively, my wife and I, of allowing him to play Roblox on the phone. And so we're trying to break that habit. We're breaking that habit by letting him play a different video game. You know, it's whatever. It is what it is. So I got him turned on to Wreckfest. And if you are not familiar with Wreckfest, it is essentially, it's Demolition Derby. It's made, I think, Bugbear. I don't know if they're the developer or the publisher. But anyways, the same crew that was behind the Flat Out games on, I think it was on PS2 and the original Xbox, and kind of ran on into the other systems. It's the same thing. They just changed the name to Wreckfest, so it's Demolition Derby, lawnmower racing. You can race on couches, combines, all kinds of crazy stuff. School buses. You know, it's essentially like Saturday night at the fairgrounds, at your local fairgrounds, where they'll, you know, have demolition derbies or ridiculous races with school buses on figure of 8 or what have you. Anyways, he's addicted to that already. Started playing it yesterday. So I have to go back in there and play through it with him so we can unlock everything. So, fun stuff. So Danielle, Trotta, and Larry Mack, they have some radio show, I guess, that comes on during the week. I don't listen to it. Obviously, like, there's basically everything about modern NASCAR is just, ugh. It brings out a collective eye roll from, like, me and everyone in the house. Like, I don't know. It's just, I could go in the house right now and turn on a race from 2003, and we could all sit there and watch it and enjoy it. But sitting through modern NASCAR stuff is just, oh, God, it's awful. Y'all know how I feel about the playoffs. I hate them. Stages, absolutely ridiculous. Overtime, it's a joke. The in-season bracket tournament garbage that they're doing right now, annoying. I hate it. I think it's just that was intended to be a distraction from the fact that the Gen 7 is a pile of crap. Everyone's been begging for NASCAR to do something with that car, and NASCAR is basically giving everybody the middle finger. They've shown zero intentions of doing anything to fix that car. The car races unbelievably awful. 1 or 2 races here and there does not save the bulk of the season. I touched on it yesterday. I watched a little bit of Dover this weekend. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was unbelievably boring. And I'm saying that as a guy that watches sports car racing, okay? Sports car racing is not exactly, wheel to wheel every lap, beating and banging. I don't have a problem with you just running the race, But there's just something about that Gen 7, man. It's just so boring. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just awful. And so anyways, they were on their radio show. I think Mark's been vocal about the fact that he doesn't like the playoffs. And I'd venture to say, if you talk to most of the guys who are retired nowadays, they probably feel the same way. But you'd have to talk to the guys who don't have ties to NASCAR anymore. Because that's the thing that drives me nuts. Larry was talking smack about Mark. They said there was a certain driver out there, Danielle did, and she said she didn't want to say any names. Then Larry chimed in, and he's like, well, I think I know who you're talking about. Is it a driver who never won any championships? Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, we're on the same page. As if Larry's won a championship. Where's your championship trophy at, Larry? This is the stupidest argument I've ever heard. And the thing is like, if Mark had won championships in the old system, and now he's complaining about the playoffs, then that argument would be applicable. Because obviously he's going to be more partial to the old system because he won championships in the old system. But considering that he didn't, there's no legitimate bias there. Now, Mark feels the same way that most actual NASCAR fans feel. Now, your casual fans, they don't give a rip one way or another about what the championship is. When I was a kid and I was watching NASCAR, started watching in 96, 97, somewhere in that ballpark. And individual races, they meant something. They just did. And something other than a playoff advancement or a playoff berth. You look at it now, let's say a guy wins the Daytona 500. Almost immediately when he gets out of that race car and he's interviewed, they bring up, how is this going to change your season now that you're locked into the playoffs? Forget the fact that he just actually won the Daytona 500, the biggest race of the season. No, all we're concerned about are the playoffs at the end of the season. That's nonsense. Okay? And it's like that with every race. Doesn't matter what race it is. If they do that with Daytona, they do it with all of them. Daytona's the biggest race of the season. Or so we're led to believe it is. Now with the Gen 7, it's a joke, but it used to be the biggest race of the season. Yeah, but the Gen 7, you're running, quarter throttle to save fuel in the first stage, and then when you're running wide open, you only have, 550 horsepower? And so you can't get away from each other. It's a big pack, and so whoever survives the wreck on it's going to be on the last lap. There's always going to be a big wreck. So whoever survives. William Byron is a perfect example. I think, what was that, this year, where he I think he was running 10th or 11th on the last lap and won the race? It's nonsense. That's not racing. I'm sorry. You can hate me. You can argue that point all you want to. You will never convince me that is not racing. It's just not. And what's funny, too, is a lot of people forget about this, but Dale Earnhardt, who was really good at plate tracks, hated plate racing. There are several interviews that I've seen, because I watch old races all the time. Several interviews where he says he hates it. And this was back in the 90s and the 2000s. And, you can't get away from each other. It's just not racing. It just isn't. I don't know a way to fix that. You could make it similar to the 90s and the 2000s, but I don't know a way to fix that in general, the pack racing stuff, because you don't want the cars going fast enough to where they take off and end up in the grandstands. But I don't know. I don't know how to fix that. But back to my original point, Larry McReynolds, for you to say something like that, man, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Larry's from my hometown, from Birmingham. Okay. It's not where I was born, but it's where I grew up. And I'm ashamed to say that. Like, how can you get on something that's being, broadcast nationally and drag a Hall of Famer through the mud because he doesn't like the bogus championship format that's in place right now. And let's also be clear about this. Danielle Trotta and Larry Mack, they draw a paycheck from NASCAR. So obviously they're going to back up the playoffs no matter what. You could probably talk to Larry off the cuff, off camera, and he probably doesn't even like the playoffs. I don't know. Who knows? But they're definitely not going to say that on camera. They're just not going to. There used to be a time, not super long ago, where guys drawing paychecks from NASCAR, if they did something idiotic, they would call them out on air. Wally used to do it. I heard him do it several times. Several times. DW used to do the same thing. Especially back when he, in the first few years of commentating. Tony Stewart, similar deal. And then they chased Tony out of the sport. Which he also left because of the charter deal, which is another joke in of itself. But, it's just, it's disgusting, honestly. I think it's just the best way to put it. It's disgusting to hear somebody talk about a legend like that. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to prove to you when I'm done yapping that the races back in the day were just better. They meant something. Okay? They just did. They just did. That's it, man. They just did. And that's across all three series because all three series now have playoffs. Okay? It was just, the entire series was looked at as more of a legitimate series. I made this argument earlier on Twitter. And by the way, I'll put the link to that radio clip in the description so you can hear it. But I made this point earlier, and a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people don't agree with me. I'm just going to say it. Formula One does not have playoffs. Okay? They have a full season championship. It's a little different from the one that NASCAR had, but the general concept is the same. Very seldom does Formula One season, their championship, ever come down to Abu Dhabi, the final race of the season. It does happen every once in a while, but it's very few and far between. Normally, the championship's wrapped up like 2-3 races before the end of the season, if not earlier than that. Yet, Formula One is the most famous motorsports category on the planet. Far and away. I'm not talking about just in the U.S. I'm talking about globally. It's lights out bigger than anything else. So if you need playoffs to stay relevant and be popular, then why isn't Formula One doing it? Because people don't want that nonsense. People don't want to watch. I can tell you right now, I grew up, I was a diehard NASCAR fan growing up. I worked for Rick Hendrick for a little while. I was so proud of that fact. I went around telling everybody about it. Okay. But I have grown apart from NASCAR. I just have. There's nothing about modern NASCAR that's appealing to me. I'm 36 years old too. I'm not a boomer. It's not like, I grew up watching it in the 80s and I wish it'd go back to the 80s. No. Like, I started watching it in like 97. So I only got 5 or 6 years? Well, no. Let's see. Got about 10 years of the Gen 4 before it was replaced. Got less than that with a full season championship format. It's just, nothing about it today is appealing. To me personally, that's just my opinion. If you like it, you like it. I'm not throwing shade. To each their own. But for me, it's not good. So I've went to other forms of motorsport, man. I watched Formula One. I never watched Formula One growing up. I hated Formula One when I was a kid. I thought it was the most boring thing on the planet. I actually did. I remember having conversations with my dad back in the day. I was like, man, this is so unbelievably boring. But I'll sit through a Formula One race now on a Sunday from start to finish. I've gone back and watched 2005 season, 2004 season. I know a lot of stuff that happened, in Formula One's history now, but when I was growing up, I would not watch it. It's awful, in my opinion, when I was a kid. I don't feel that way now. the same way with sports car racing. I watched it here and there. I'd watch the Rolex at Daytona, mostly because NASCAR guys would run in that race. But that was it. I wouldn't watch anything else. I've gravitated towards it as I've gotten older, and I've stopped watching NASCAR. And I would go back to watching NASCAR instantly, overnight, if they'd have a real championship. It's just simple as that, man. I would literally watch it every weekend. I would go to races. I haven't been to a race, a NASCAR race, and since I worked for Hendrick, so it's been 10 years at least. I think it's been longer than that, actually, but I'd start going back to them. Just based on the championship format alone, I would stomach the awful race car. If they had a real championship. So, there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. I'm not alone on that. So, I don't know. NASCAR used to be in a spot where they were, if the numbers would have kept going the way that they were going, they could have easily competed with the NFL, but they shot themselves in the foot and completely ruined it. Now that ship is completely sailed. It's gone. It's not coming back into port. It is gone. So, my advice would be to get rid of the gimmicks, but Jim France, Ben Kennedy, and the Steves have shown that they have, I don't know. I don't want to talk crap about people. Okay, other than the fact that they act like they have no idea what they're doing. Jim France acts like he doesn't care about sport. Ben Kennedy is like coming up with he's pretty sure that he's the reason all the gimmicks exist. Aside from the playoffs, we all know that was Brian. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Brian is still calling shots behind the scenes. I know he's not the CEO anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's still calling shots. That's another thing too. The fact that the sport is family owned in 2025 is another problem. A massive problem. They should sell it, in my personal opinion. They should sell it, and or have a third party entity come in to sanction the races, kind of like what the FIA does with Formula One, or Motorsport Australia does with supercars. Similar deal. But the way that it's going, the future is not bright. I don't think it is. I'd love to be wrong, I'd love for it to be a healthy series moving forward. It's just the trends are not backing that up. So we'll see. But anyways, like I said, I'm going to put a clip here when I get done yapping so you can watch. This is going to be an older one. It's going to be from like 2002. And just take in the atmosphere, and just see how much different it was than what it is now. Because from my perspective, it's night and day different. So check it out. Anyways, if you enjoyed listening to me ramble, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, racing memorabilia, auto parts, anything like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. I guess that's it. So until next time, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you. Appreciate it. Peace.
The pace car is going to be pulling off onto pit road. They'll be completing lap 197 at the green flag. Leaves 3 laps to go, single file, because we're under 10 laps to go. 10 cars on the lead lap, led by Todd Bodine, then Greg Biffle. Tony Raines is third, Scott Wimmer fourth, Scott Riggs fifth, Jamie Murray sixth, seventh Kerry Earnhardt. Then it's Kenny Wallace, Shane Hall, Ricky Hendrick. Here we're getting set to restart this race.
All right, there's a line up here on the outside wall. It'll be in this area, and that'll be where they're supposed to restart.
All right, so Todd Bodine on the restart. Green flag comes out. Bodine gets a little bit of a jump on the Granger Ford of Biffle as they pour off into turn number 1. Tony Raines finds himself in a battle for the third spot with Scott Wimmer. But Todd Bodine now. Here is Biffle looking to his inside as they move on to the back straightaway.
Biffle got a great run out of turn number 2 there, and Bodine gave him the inside. Bodine didn't have a choice. He was running the outside groove. Oh, Todd got up out of the groove there. That right there is going to cost him the race.
And they come back down to the line. 2 laps to go. Todd Bodine 2 car lengths in back of Greg Biffle, a gap that is growing. So Greg Biffle takes an opportune yellow flag, may turn it into yet another victory. You know, see out the back view, he's pulling away from Bodine. Biffle locked on the bottom of the racetrack. Todd Bodine not nearly as fast. And then just behind them, you see a battle for fourth spot. Scott Riggs trying to move underneath the Siemens Pontiac. It looks like the Scott Wimmer.
You know, we put a little bit of speedy dry down there. That was the reason they had the caution. I wouldn't be surprised if Todd picked up some of that running high through 1 and 2 on the restart. Todd
Bodine now trying to mount a final challenge. They're down to the stripe. The white flag is now flying at Kentucky. Side by side, the battle for fourth. Wimmer on the outside. Scott Riggs on the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like Riggs will grab the spot. Here are the lead machines coming out of turn number 2 for the final time. Todd Bodine picked up a lot of ground as they hustle down the back straightaway. He'll take one last shot. Bodine now looking to the high side of Greg Biffle. Trouble. Jay Sauter's hitting the wall. The caution flag is out. Here's the lead machines. Bodine on the outside.
Once, twice.
Down to the stripe as they bang. Biffle out of control. And
I can tell.
Stripe, it looks like Todd Bodine by 36 thousandths of a second has won it. They hit once, twice, 3 times, and then again, Biffle's car clocked sideways, and when it did, perhaps the nose of Todd Bodine's machine beat him to the start-finish line. And what a big win for Todd Bodine, the first of 2002, the 14th for his career, and man, what a finish here in Kentucky.
I guess that was a great finish. I need to see it again. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced yet that he won. I've got to see this.
On the NASCAR scoring computer, Todd Bodine has been listed the winner by 0.036 of a second. And what a great finish. Todd Bodine on the high side. Let's take a look at a replay. As they work their way out of turn number 4, Bodine on the high side, Biffle trying to use up all the racetrack he can.
Well, Todd Bodine's not giving it up an inch either, and they just made contact, and it took a little bit of the air off. I still couldn't tell from that angle, but the computer in NASCAR does say Todd Bodine's the winner.
When he got out of shape, it looked like Biffle's car went at a 45-degree angle. When it did, Todd's car snuck by because he was in a straight line. And man, I don't think either driver has anything to complain about there. Again, Bodine had proved in the late stages of this race he was faster than Biffle. Biffle, a great move on the restart to retake the lead, and Bodine just kept digging. He wouldn't give up. Let's take another look at this thing as we come back to turn number 4. Here's Bodine. Good run out of turn 3 to the high side. Biffle tried to block him, couldn't do it. They touch once, twice, and then the third time you see Biffle's car turning sideways, Bodine's car in a straight line, and that was just enough for the Excedrin Chevrolet to grab the victory. Here's a look out the back bumper of the Greg Biffle machine. And there the car is sideways across the start-finish line. Greg Biffle did all he could do to hold on, but came up just inches short. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett in Victory Lane.
Todd Bodine, a jubilant Todd Bodine climbs out of the car. They looked right in the camera. Ooh, suicide dive off the back of the car. This is going to be a wild celebration, guys, because they have been waiting so long. Been almost a year since these guys have won a race. Todd Bodine coming back around the car. First off, buddy, you earned your money today. What a great effort at the end there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, our car wasn't real good right after restarts. Greg knew it. He was going to take advantage of it, and he did. Did exactly what he had to do. I said to hell with that. He ain't going to do that to me. Got a great run. Stuck it on the outside in 3 and 4. Didn't know if it was going to stick. It stuck. Got in the throttle. Had a heck of a race down the front straightaway and beat him. So it's a great day for Excedrin. Herzog Jackson Motorsports. Stan, Reggie, man, wish you guys were here.
Looks like you absolutely made the right decision about whether to stay here or go to Michigan, Todd.
Yeah, we knew we had a good race car. But the deal was, any conflicts, I had to stay here with the 92 Excedrin Chevrolet, and damn glad I did.
Well, we're glad you did, too. What a great finish, one of the best we've had. I'm going to let you guys, Tony Liberati, the crew chief, come in here, giving a big hug to his guy. Tony, I know that when Greg got by him on that restart there that your heart had to sink, but you had faith in him.
I had all kind of faith. I wasn't worried. He said he was going to get him, and he got him. Greg was good on the bottom. We was good on the top. He showed him. He showed him.
Congratulations, guys. Go celebrate. Here's Brett McMillan.
Well, Greg Biffle, let's go over that final lap, man. What a wild one.
Yeah, it was. That last set of tires, my car, the Grange report was really tight. We put a spring rubber in the right rear, and I thought it was going to be really good, but Todd's car really coming around. Those guys did a great job over there in the 92. And I was just so tight in the middle of the corner. I couldn't run the top. And I got down in the corner down there at 3 and 4. I saw him on the outside, and I just put it to the mat. reminds me of Charlotte, a couple weeks back, and that's just all I had. I just car pushed up. I got into him. It was my fault, but hopefully, he won the race and everything's good. But it was exciting for fans and TV.
What's the view from inside the car there coming to the start-finish line?
Well, I was all elbows trying to keep the thing going straight. My car pushed up, and I think he tried to push me down a little bit, to keep me down, and it kind of turned me sideways a little because I was out in front of him a little bit, and I was back and forth. I kind of lost control of it there a little bit, but we were headed for the checkers, so it was okay.
All right, an exciting finish, Greg Biffle. He does have a big smile on his face. We enjoyed watching it. I think he kind of enjoyed it too, Mark.
Absolutely, and I'm just catching my breath after that finish. What a great battle in the final, 1,000 yards between Greg Biffle and Todd Bodine. A look at the unofficial results now popping up. Todd Bodine the winner, followed by Biffle, Tony Raines. Great one for Kerry Earnhardt. Ricky Hendrick battles back to an 8th place finish. Shane Meal, Casey Mears round out the top 20. Look at the rest of the finishing order.
What a class interview that Greg Biffle gave there at the end there. He could have said some things that would make him think, I should have won this race, but instead he did good.